Back in June of this year, I recorded the video for this channel entitled A Reminder of Why I'm a Wrestling Fan. I recorded it, I believe, a day or two after I went to Raw on June 30th, one of the best shows I've ever attended to live. I've ever been to live. Probably the single best show I've ever been to live, which featured the return of Chris Jericho, of AJ Lee, The Miz, a new Divas champion being crowned, all this other awesome stuff. The face turn of Jack Swagger. Of course, you can go back and watch all the videos that I took from the show here on the channel. I lost my voice at Jericho coming back. And you can tell that in the video that I filmed. And even in this video, you can't really tell that much. It's been a few days. But I once again lost my voice at another wrestling show that I went to. Not WWE, but an indie show called Northeast Wrestling. I've mentioned them a number of times over the course of the last couple of months in my random video blogs, such as these. And a lot of stuff. So you know of Northeast Wrestling. It's an indie organization up here in the Northeast. I've been going to their shows, not regularly because I'm in college now, so I don't really have the accessibility to go to them as much as I usually want to. But I wanted to go this past week because they were in my home state of Connecticut. I go to school in Massachusetts, but I wanted to make the trip home because it was my brother's birthday that weekend anyway, so it kind of worked out well. So I got to stay home for the weekend and, spend time with him. But the show was that Friday, so I made the trip. But let me back up a little bit. Like I said before, we don't go to these shows all that often. We try to as much as we can. When I say we, I mean me and my friend John, who I've also talked about at length here in the video blogs before, with at JohnKnapp17 on Twitter if you want to check him out. But I found out a couple months ago that at their show on November 14th, and usually I would never drive home to go to a wrestling show. Like I would go to indie shows all the time here in the area last year. They moved from the town that I'm currently in to another part of Massachusetts, so I stopped going regularly. But I would never travel home to go to a wrestling show. I would never go out of my way. If it wasn't convenient for me, I wouldn't go. But I would found out a couple of months ago that at this Northeast Wrestling show, Kurt Angle was going to be there, AJ Styles, who I missed the opportunity to meet earlier this year because, ironically enough, I was back here at school, and I was telling my friend John about this, and I was just, kind of shooting the shit and how awesome it would be if we were there, not realistically thinking we would be able to go. And he just said 2 words, "We're going." And I said, "We're going?" He said, "We're going." So we made the plans, I booked a train, booked a bus to get from the train station. It was a crazy-ass day. It was the first ever time, and I live in Connecticut, and obviously, like I said before, I go to school here in Massachusetts, and it's like a 2.5 to 3 hour drive to get from here to there. And I didn't want to have anyone pick me up because I wanted it to be a surprise for my brother for me to come home that weekend. So I took a taxi to the train station, the train into Boston, another taxi, a bus, another car to get to the show. John drove me. So it was a wild ride on Friday, but like I said before, the whole losing of the voice thing, it was really an experience. And I think for me, and it's different for everybody, not every wrestling fan, when something crazy happens, they're not going to mark out like I am. Like, I'm different in that sense. A lot of people who might not know that I'm a wrestling fan, I don't know how you wouldn't be because I'm so open about it, but might not expect them from me because I'm not very loud in my personal life and stuff like that. But you can even notice stuff like on Twitter and whatever else. When something awesome happens, you'll see me marking out and typing in random letters or saying, "Oh, baby boy," or whatever else. And I'm just that kind of person. I get easily excited about that kind of stuff, not just in wrestling or if something else happens, I'll usually get excited about it. I'm just easy to please, I guess I could say. But that was definitely the case on Friday night when Kurt Angle's WWE music hit. I was telling my friend John, like I said before, who was with me at the time, I was telling him, it would suck if he came out to his TNA music, no pun intended. I really hope that he comes out to his WWE music, and it hit at one moment of the show. I'm going to probably upload the video here on the channel at some point in the next couple of days. But it was an insane experience. Once that music hit, I went crazy. You can hear me go crazy. When Jericho comes back in the video that I uploaded here on the channel, you can go back and listen to that. I was like, everyone was going crazy, but I was jumping up and down and shit like that. I lost my voice because of it. My voice is still a little hoarse because of the show on Friday, but I have no hard feelings about that whatsoever because it was definitely worth it. But like I said before, not every wrestling fan is going to mark the fuck out like I do and stuff like that, and that's fine. And I'll never, ever get mad at anyone for getting excited, like if they meet their favorite wrestler or whatever else and they get openly excited. Some people may say that's embarrassing or whatever else. For me, I've been there, so I understand. I still do it to this day. I'm 19 fucking years old, and I'm still getting excited over like the stupidest shit, like a return or something like that, or something like that. Like I said before, when Angle came out, I lost my voice. I'm not even gonna lie to you. When I marked out as hard as I did, I'm gonna probably upload the video so you guys can see it for yourselves. But I've been in that position before. Because like I said before, I get easily excited about wrestling stuff and stuff like that. But yeah, I've been in those shoes before, so I feel for anyone that feels like it's embarrassing to mark out or anything like that. At the end of the day, we're all fans. Like, I hate calling people marks and stuff like that. I may have done that at one point. I definitely don't do it anymore. Marks, whatever. The IWC. We're all on the internet nowadays. Everyone has a Twitter. Everyone has a Facebook for the most part. So, I mean, we're all technically considered a part of the IWC. So that term is dumb. That's useless in 2014. And mark and smart and whatever else. Calling someone a mark, I mean, I guess I could see it in some cases, like being a mark for oneself if you're a wrestler. But we're all fans of mark in the simplest term means being a fan of wrestling. And that's basically what you all are, or what we all are at the end of the day. So calling someone a mark doesn't really make sense to me. I will often use the term marking out, like I did before, but I will never really call anyone a mark. It doesn't make any sense to me. But like I said before, taking the trip to that show, I think was... I would have regretted it otherwise had I not gone and seen photos from the show and the amazing event, main event that night. It was Matt Taven, the NEW champion, defending the gold in a triple threat match against Evan Bourne, a.k.a. Matt Seidel, and AJ Styles. And it was an amazing triple threat match. And like I said before, there was a lot of other cool stuff on the show before, or earlier on in the night. We had an appearance by Velvet Sky, her real-life boyfriend, Bully Ray, Tony Atlas, and a few others as well. It was such a surreal experience to meet all these other people over the course of the night as well. And after we got to the show, we got to meet all these people. You can see all the pictures on my website, nextwrestling.weebly.com. And we got to meet so many wrestlers, some of them for free because we stayed around afterwards and got to talk to a few of them. I got a few interviews and stuff like that. So I definitely would have regretted not going to that show otherwise, so I'm glad I did. But those are the kind of shows that reminded me, kind of going back to the title of this video, that remind me why I'm a wrestling fan. Like the Raw that I went to earlier this year on June 30th in Hartford, CT. You can go back and watch on the WWE Network for only... Oh, it's free actually this month as I post this. But anyway, like that, the Raw that I went to at that time, the product was not hot. I mean, right now, it depends what you define as hot. Like, Attitude Era was hot. We're never going to get back to that point ever. Probably, in my opinion. The product could get hot again, but definitely not anytime soon. But, I mean, the product at the time that I went to that show was not great. I mean, I think, arguably, that show, one of the best of the year that I went to, maybe I'm biased, but I just personally think so, kicked off one great summer for WWE in 2014. Was it as good as maybe last summer or the summer of 2011? Maybe not. That's arguable, but I thought it was pretty good for what it was, with all the stars that we had around, and RVD, and Jericho, and Bray Wyatt, and everyone else being there, and everything else going on. But I thought it was great. And, yeah, like I was going back, like I was saying before, I think that Raw that I went to was so great was because the product wasn't at an all-time high at that point in time, so I was not expecting much going in. So, just being there in person and experiencing the whole WWE experience and whatever else reminded me why I love this shit so much. And being there on Friday and that indie show, and like I said before, it's no WWE show. They don't got the high-tech lights. They don't have the top-tier superstars, but in a way they did. And being able to meet Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, Bully Ray, and being able to sit down and talk to these people for a few minutes was absolutely surreal. I'm not taking away from the experience of a WWE event, but at no WWE event will you be able to do that. For the most part, maybe if you're a VIP member or something shit like that, but at an indie event, you get to sit down and talk to these people face-to-face, get that personal connection that you would not get otherwise. And I was definitely reminded of why I'm a fan in going into that show on Friday night. Taking that trip was definitely worth it. Like I said before, I could not have been happier to have been at that show and meet one of my idols, AJ Styles, who I share a birthday with. Also with Velvet Sky, who was also at that show, and I told her that as well. But at a time where the product is not as hot as it probably could be or should be, right now I'm talking about. I mean, this is all personal opinion, but I think the product did get better a little bit in the last couple of weeks since Hell in the Cell. Maybe we'll see on Sunday at Survivor Series whether it will kind of get good again going into WrestleMania season. But there definitely was a lull from August to late October where it was like every Raw sucks. Like, this is boring. Raw's getting a little better. It's not great, but it's definitely getting better on a weekly basis. And it's gotten to the point where I'm actually excited to go to watch Survivor Series on Sunday. But in wrestling time periods like right now, when there isn't much to get excited about, for me there is. Like, I'm a big Ryback fan. I'm liking the whole Randy Orton babyface turn. So for me, like, stuff like that is cool. Like, I look forward to that. For a lot of fans, though, they really have nothing to look forward to. And I'm not going to say you should stop watching if you don't like it. I mean, if you've been watching for so long, it's hard to get out of it, so I understand. But still, though, I definitely think that there's a lot of fans out there like, why am I still watching? There's not a lot of good stuff to get excited about. Why do I even like watching wrestling? And I think going to that show on Friday, and I'm not saying this is on the verge of not becoming a wrestling fan anymore. I was on the verge of stop watching wrestling. Like, I'm not saying that at all. But it was another one of those reminders in going to that Northeast Wrestling show, which will hopefully be on DVD at some point, which I can own it and watch it back because it was such a great night and great show. It just served as a reminder why I love this stuff as much as I do.